My movie proposal is for Haunting of the Seas, the New Zealand mud snail. So first of all, an introduction. The main character or monster of this movie is named Mary, and she is a New Zealand mud snail. She was introduced into North America in the late 19th century. She's been terrorizing the western United States and the Great Lakes region for about 50 years, and she reached here officially in 1987, and we've speculated that she arrived via contaminated water in ships or the transport of live fish from different aquatic areas for economic purposes. So, since her introduction, she's been terrorizing native species. She preys upon native snails, mussels, and aquatic insects by consuming over half of their food sources, and she has made up the vast majority of the biomass in the macroinvertebrate category. So she's really come to dominate the regions in which she's been introduced. Mary is a ruthless competitor. She dominates. She does not have a natural predator in these regions. Her impact is also upon the native fish species, which have limited food resources due to their native ones being outcompeted by her, and Mary has also impacted the fishing industry in these areas. This because if there is less food for the fish, then there are fewer fish, and if there are fewer fish, then fishermen are not selling as much and not making as much money. Specialized species like native lake trout and the pea clams are more at risk from the New Zealand mud snail because the wide impact the snail has on food resources in the food web, and generalist species are able to kind of change and take from multiple different food sources, but Mary the mud snail is consuming so much food and so many resources that she is really affecting specialized species. Some of Mary's adaptations that allow her to kind of prey upon these species are her ability to completely close her shell, which preserves cold and damp conditions inside the shell that allow it to survive out of water for weeks. And Mary the New Zealand mud snail has a rigid operculum and thick shell that allows it to pass through the digestive system of a predator without being harmed. So those are two adaptations, physical adaptations, that allow it to terrorize. Now, the climax of this movie is the disruption of the species' evenness by dominating the macroinvertebrate biomass. She is disrupting the balance of species, and she has had although she has had a minimal effect on species richness, because none of these native species have been extinct. She impacts, as I said before, the economics of the fishing industry, but we do not have a full estimate of the cost of her impact. And the hero in this film would be humans taking simple steps to prevent Mary the New Zealand mud snail from traveling to new aquatic territories. Some steps humans could take would be checking and cleaning their water gear, draining water from bilges and their equipment, and never transporting live fish, plants, or animals from one aquatic area to another. Those all promote the spread of the New Zealand mud snail to new areas. And because the New Zealand mud snail has high reproduction rates and are small, they can never truly be eradicated from an environment, so they're forever felt by the ecosystem, and we must work on prevention to ensure an end to this horror.